Sorry for the wait, Mr. Flores. I am ready to take you now.
Take me? Take me where?
Now, there's no need to be nervous.
Nervous? No. Just your appearance. It's a little intimidating.
Intimidating? Me? But I'm your friend. My name's Manny Calavera. I'm your new travel agent.
I don't want a new travel agent. I want to go home.
You can't go home, Celso. You're dead. But you're not alone. Everybody here is just as dead as you. That's why we call it the land of the dead. Are you ready for your big journey?
No. What journey?
The 4-year journey of the soul. It is quite a big trip. And I can't lie to you, Celso. It could be very, very dangerous. Unless you were to take that money you were buried with and buy a better travel package from us. I mean, wouldn't you rather cross the land of the dead in your own sports car? Maybe try a luxury ocean cruise? Or, if you led a very good life, you may even be eligible for a ticket on the number 9 itself.
The number 9?
That's our top-of-the-line express train. It shoots straight to the 9th underworld, the land of eternal rest, in 4 minutes instead of 4 years. But very few people qualify. Let's take a look at your records. Well, the bad news is the train appears to be just out of your reach, but I still got a couple of tricks up my sleeve here. Yaha! Yes, that's the ticket. The Excelsior line. Yes, she's a beauty. That compass and the handle will sure come in handy, too. Oh, you're going to have a great trip. Wish I was going.
Why don't you? You could give me a lift.
Oh, I can't leave here until I've worked off a little debt to the powers that be.
Community service, eh? Well, I guess there are some folks worse off than me.
Oh, I'll be leaving here soon enough. No thanks to dead and no commission low-life cases like yours, Menso.
Hey, Manny. The boss told me to tell you not to leave early tonight. He wants to talk to you about something when he gets back from his trip.
Tell Don not to worry. I'm not going anywhere. Especially not with clients like that. Where do they get these guys? They don't qualify for anything good, so I can't sell anything good. Can't work off my time, and I'm stuck. Stuck selling walking sticks to a bunch of burros for eternity. I need better clients. I need a real saint. I need a lead on a rich, dead saint. ¿Qué es esto? It's some sort of special work order.
To all agents from Office Manager Don Copel.
All right, you boneheads, thank your lucky stars and get to your friggin' cars. We have a mass poisoning on our hands. Too many dead to assign specific cases, so all clients are first come, first serve. So let's see some hustle out there.
Whatever you say, Jefe.
I love pneumatic tubes. If you ever read articles about old New York, there's a lot of stuff about how the tube system was... There was an inter-building tube system, too.
Oh, really?
I don't know how that could possibly work. And the tubes were 16 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
And they would shoot pneumatic messages, like they'd push them between buildings. And none of those tubes are there, and they're thinking about like using them for fiber optics and stuff like that.
Here's Celso's file. That walking stick was too good for him.
So this was actually the art test I took.
Oh.
I had to make this whole scene in a day.
Really?
No. Did they pay you for that?
1 day?
Barely.
Wow.
I was so scared.
How much did you get done?
I think almost all the geometry.
Oh.
Wow.
In some cases, it used to be an overnight render.
Better take these cards. It looks like a long day of solitaire for me. It's some sort of special work order. This deck of cards is a little frayed around the edges. Then again, so am I. And I've got fewer suits. My scythe, I like to keep it next to where my heart used to be. I don't want to mess up my blade. This end cabin is where I hang my cloak. My message tube is full of nothing, as usual. My boss is always giving me these motivational sales books. They bought the farm, now sell them the cows. Stuff like that. Wasn't too long ago that the name...
So this was the first scene in the game that we ever actually did with some test assets. So I had, this is when I was proving out, okay, yes, we can do this. It was this hallway scene. We had manning up, running up and down. We had the security cam, kind of camera switching. We had text on the screen. We had animations. We had geolocation of the sound relative to the camera. The typing was down the hallway. And we had manning running up and down. It was a really good test scene, and it kind of came to it at the very last second. Like, literally, like, I was compiling code as people ran in the room because I had a awful bug. But this was sort of like proof that, yes, we have all the elements to make this work. This was the first scene ever put together. And Manny, notice in this scene, Manny hardly ever clips behind anything, and that's partially because I didn't have the buffers working yet. But it was good enough that when people saw it, like, they were really impressed, and I was kind of surprised because I was like the new guy at LucasArts, and was kind of half-assing my way through this and somehow made everybody really impressed. So I thought, at that point, I thought, okay, we can do this.
Golden door to mediocre management.
A little respect for our fearless leader, please.
Why? I've worked here longer than he has, you know.
And you're proud of that?
Good point.
So, is there a reason that a lot of people who are in administrative positions of power have New York accents? Is that a
Everyone in the
Manny,
jazz era was from New York.
that? Well, yeah, that's true.
A lot of people don't know that.
Well,
Okay.
Any messages for me?
Besides the one about the poisoning?
Yeah.
I only have one other message for you, Manny. I'm not your secretary. I don't take your messages. So get it through your thick skull and stop forwarding your phone to me.
All right. But that sounded more like 4 messages to me. What poisoning?
The Code 3 gazpacho poisoning that everybody's at but you. Why do I send out memos if nobody reads them?
Where was the poisoning again?
Just ask your driver, for crying out loud. He'll know.
Well, I gotta go hit the bricks.
My writing has changed a lot since this. Like I was really trying to write good dialogue here, which to me at the time meant a lot of like puns and like wordplay. Like this suit is just this deck of cards is a lot like me. It's ragged around the edges, but I've got more suits. And I forget what it is, but it was like everything had to be this kind of like bon mot.
Well, that's kind of Chandler-esque too. I mean, you know.
But I think I ease off on it in Act 2. I think I just start writing or in Year 2. There's a lot more just normal talking, which I think I kind of like a little bit more now. I mean, it's fun to like have a crazy wordplay like that, but you can just kind of trip over yourself a lot too much if you focus on that, I think.
It's a hole punch.
You hear reverb on the steps, and you hear the reverb on his voice, and that was real time. It's his real-time reverb in a time when we never did that. We always pre-baked the files with reverb, and Jeff really had to fight for, I think it was like 5% of the CPU. But now anything that happens in this garage goes through that reverb. And like to modern game folks, audio people, it's just totally basic, no big deal. But back then it was such a big deal. And he really had to jump through hoops for it, and it's so great.
Ooh, I might get hurt if I try to get one down by myself.
Mark Hamer, I remember animating that Glottis coming out, and he had to put this thing called a lattice on his butt. And he was like, "What are you working on, Mark?" I'm working on the Glottis butt lattice. And he was always like working on the Glottis butt lattice to like morph and squash and stretch his butt as it came out of the the door. And so, 3 cheers to Mark Hamer and his Glottis butt lattice. Amazing work, still remembered to this day.
Hey, service!
Hey, who the... Oh, sorry, sir. I didn't expect... Sales agents usually don't come over to this part of the garage.
Hey, you a driver?
Me? Ha! No. I don't ride them, just wrench them.
I'm Calavera. Manny Calavera.
My name's Glottis. I don't get many visitors. Hey, I got a message for a Mr. Calavera. Your driver said that Mr. Hurley said that he could have the rest of the day off.
Domino sent my driver home?
Yeah, wasn't that nice?
Glottis? Is that a German name?
Oh, no. My roots lie not in any earthly nation's soil. I am an elemental spirit summoned up from the land of the dead itself and given one purpose, one skill, one desire: to drive! drive! Or to change oil and adjust timing belts if no driving jobs are open.
Nice hut.
Yeah, I wonder how nice it would seem to you if you were trapped in it all day like me.
If you hate your job, why don't you quit?
It's not just a job. It's what I was created to do. If I get any farther away from cars than this, I'll get sick and die. It's like I'm not happy unless I'm breathing in the thick, black, nauseating fumes.
Can't imagine. Looks like I need a new driver.
Oh, I would agree with that. Yes, you do.
You want to be my replacement driver?
Me? Oh, no. Sorry, can't. Rules.
Come on, Gladys. I need you to be my driver.
No, I can't. I'm too big.
You're not too big. You're just right.
No, they told me again and again. I'm too big to drive.
You're not too big. You just have a self-image problem.
A what?
Repeat after me. I am not fat. I am thin. Women find me attractive.
Hey, I never said I was too fat for the ladies, just the cars. The ladies like me just fine.
Screw the rules. Come with me.
No, I don't want to get in trouble again. They said one more strike and I'm out.
Okay, see you later, chicken.
Yeah, okay.
Who's afraid of a little rusty water?
Hey, who the... Huh?
Come on, Gladys. I need you to be my driver.
I told you, I'm too big.
Well, do you know anyone who can drive?
Everybody's gone. It's the Day of the Dead, you know.
Yeah, I know. You're not too big. The cars are just too small.
Yeah, those dang compact cars. Hey, that gives me an idea. I could alter your car just a bit with just a quick torch job to let out the seams, you know? But I'm not allowed to modify the cars without a work order from upstairs. I could...
A work?
Yeah, I can't torch anything bigger than a cigarette.
Hey, that's my line. Back in a snap.
Yeah. Everything around here is just too small.
It's a tool cabinet. That won't help it get signed. C'est une armoire à outils. Un peu d'eau rouillée, ça fait pas de mal. Ça ne m'avancera à rien. C'est fermé. C'est fermé. C'est fermé. C'est fermé. C'est une armoire à outils. Ça ne m'avancera à rien. C'est une armoire à outils. Elle est fermée.
Monsieur Calavera, vous avez fait signer votre ordre de mission?
Non, on ne pourrait pas s'en passer.
Si ça se sait, je suis viré. Et si je perds mon travail?
Hé, t'inquiète pas. Continue ton travail. J'aurai la signature du patron. Je me débrouillerai. C'est fermé.
Chiuso. È un ripostiglio degli attrezzi. È chiuso.
It's closed. It's closed. It's closed.
Mark Hamer, remember animating that.
It's my boss's secretary, Ava.
It's my boss's whipping boy, Manny.
Ava, I really need the boss to sign this work order.
I'll give it a shot. Mr. Copel, I've got Manny Calavera out here to see you.
Didn't I say no interruptions today?
Sorry, Cal. Maybe tomorrow.
That's too late.
Oh, yeah, like you're going anywhere.
It's a hole punch.
Manny, what are you doing?
Just marking cards, honey. It's a hole punch. I remember the year they built that. Mostly because it cost so much, we didn't get bonuses that year. Tacaños.
I love that mural because it's the 3 ways of traveling in the Land of the Dead, the car, and the train, and the boat. There's no air travel in the Land of the Dead. No Land of the Dead airlines.
I think the camera choices in this game were actually pretty fantastic. I think the camera choices in this game were actually pretty fantastic as well. I don't know who's responsible for that. Was it storyboarded or...
Was that you, Pete? Or?
Yeah, probably a little bit. There's a lot of stuff got worked out ahead of time, certainly, and I mean because, you know, we didn't necessarily build full 360 3D worlds. Oh, I mean, well, except for like the offices and stuff.
Looks like some sort of crafty month. The bread of... Since I really didn't get to celebrate the fest... That wouldn't be a very good use of this... What? 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 I've got some. Looks like some sort of crafty mine. Hey, what's going down, clown?
Hey, back off, Suit. I'm practicing.
Some festival, huh?
Yeah, pretty busy. My carpal tunnel syndrome's really acting up.
But you don't have any tendons.
Yeah, well, you don't have a tongue, but that doesn't seem to shut you up now, does it?
Can I walk through your tent? I want to see the parade.
Well, walk through someone else's tent, all right? Do I look like a turnstile to you?
You teach me how to do that?
Well, since you're a beginner, why don't you practice the first step?
Which is?
Blow.
Bang!
Ah, pop another one. Lousy, bony fingers.
Practice.
Ring in your... Yeah.
Bet you can't do a cat.
I can.
A dead one.
Heck.
That's not what balloons are for. That's not... Mike, do you have... Okay.
Ta-da!
It's a squeaky little kitty. That's the door to the garage. It looks like a rope, but it's really just a bunch of cheap ties tied together.
Can you imagine actually pulling yourself up a little chain of ties that are as long as the like?
Well, that's what's great about. And then I like the view
like,
down.
He's so calm about it too. He's like, chip, chip, chip. Many stories. I mean, part of it is, I guess, he probably won't die.
He's already dead.
He's already dead.
Say, he's already dead. So it's really just.
And I was thinking, does he have the muscles to do that? Whereas, no, he doesn't have any muscles.
The ties, when Manny later uses the ties to cross over to the roof, he wanted to be more like a little bit more, less adventure game and more sort of skill game where you had to kind of, line up the ties and throw the lasso and hook it on the thing. And I'll be honest with you, that was technically not something I was prepared to do in any way, shape, or form. It was kind of all I could do to make the rest of the stuff work. So the ties and the beavers were, and actually the shocks on the tree were all supposed to be a little bit more dynamic than a lot of the canned stuff you typically have in an adventure game. We just couldn't do it.
I always liked the music up at the up on the ledge.
Me too. It's very Bernard Herrmann.
And it made
Vertigo.
always made me feel like a little. Maybe it's because I actually have
Vertigo?
a little bit of vertigo or whatever. No, vertigo
But
is not the
isn't
thing.
that
But, yeah.
that happens a lot in
Fear
Vertigo, the
fights.
movie Vertigo, like the
Yes.
na, 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 na,
Yeah,
na, na,
yeah.
na, na, na.
Yeah, it probably comes from that.
Like that dreamy falling sensation.
Well, I'm a huge Bernard Herrmann fan. How can you not be?
So this is where Copal sends out all the work orders. Why don't any of the good ones get to my office? It looks like Don's rigged it. It looks like Don's rigged.
The computers in the game are, I think, where you can see Peter Chan's 12 Monkeys like influence, like Terry Gilliam mix of like, I don't know if you call it steampunk, but it's like a lot of analog big tube type things combined with Art Deco and old-fashioned typewriter keyboards.
Well, they had steam and punk in those days, right? But they didn't actually call it steampunk, right?
In the 90s, I think we might
They
have had
did?
steampunk back then. Oh yeah.
Jeez. See, I told you I was from the Mad Men era.
I'm so glad they made a show about you guys.
I don't like the way that eye is looking at me. That's the door to the back. It's locked. You know, Copal's not really in his office.
Sweetheart, I know what you're up to.
Huh?
You're trying to get me away from my desk so you can link all my paper clips together again. Grow up, darling.
I can't find my driver.
Manny, do I have to explain your job to you again?
No, I just want to know where my driver is.
Do you want me to have him paged?
Yes.
Then get Don to stop being such a cheapskate and install a paging system. You're just gonna have to troll the carpool until you find a demon with a driver's license.
Why do I have to use a demon for a driver?
Only demons can operate the cars. If the company let you guys drive, you'd all be AWOL in 10 minutes.
Got me there. Well, enough about me. What's your job like?
Like babysitting, except I don't get to watch TV.
Well, Eva, I really need the boss to sign this work order.
I'll give it a shot. Mr. Copel, Mr. Calavera has something out here that he says he needs your signature on.
Ah, cripes, Ava, just sign it yourself, will you? I'm busy.
You'll have to excuse him, Manny. It's probably a really hard crossword puzzle he's got in there today.
Eva, I'm impressed. I had no idea you had this kind of power.
Well, we all have our secrets.
Hey, I look good in this, don't I?
Yeah, well, they say black is slimming.
I'm driving, yeah! I'm driving!
Por favor. I could have walked faster than this. Híjole, I'm gonna miss the poisoning. Domino. Ew, the living still give me the creeps. Truth be told, I'd rather be setting this milkshake soul free. Smells like the perfect client, rich and sweet. I can't reap hamburger. Cows are a whole other bureau, not to mention the lettuce. I have to say, this food looks pretty good.
What is this crazy music? How did you get it all warp sounding?
Well, that's a great... See, remember that I used to, when I did all the themes for Grimm, I carried around a little handheld cassette, right? So I'd go for my hike in the hills in the morning, and I'd carry my little cassette with me, and if something popped in my head, I'd hum into it.
And it drops into a puddle?
Well, those cassettes, I don't know if you remember much about cassette technology, because, you know...
I remember cassettes.
You do?
I made some mixtapes.
They didn't always last, especially the little tiny ones didn't last for a super long time. So you know, if you used it all the time, which I did to compose, the machine would mechanism would start to wear out, especially if it ran out low on batteries. So yeah, that was me sitting at the piano working on that theme for the Land of the Living, which I recorded on the little handheld cassette and then played it back with batteries that were running out and recorded that into the digital system.
And so that's awesome. Was that an accident at first, or you just ran out of power at an earlier time writing something else?
You know, I can't remember. I think it was an accident, but you know, I kind of meant to do it too. You know.
Nope, I'm not leaving here without a client. Copa would make a set of wind chimes out of me.
In the Land of the Living, the people look horrifying because of that. Have you ever seen that optical illusion where you take a picture of someone from a magazine, you cut rectangles out of their eyes and their mouth, and then you turn them upside down, and they just look like demons?
Oh yeah, totally.
That's Land of the Living.
Yeah.
Look at these poor saps. Smiles as bright and wide as the blade on my scythe. Soon I'll be coming for them. Did I look like that when I was alive? Did I look like that when I was alive? Did I look like that when I was alive? It's the fear of death that makes monsters of us all. Boom. Scaring the living is technically against the rules, but we all do it. Did I look like that when I was alive? Did I look like that when I was alive? I have to say, this food looks pretty good. I can't reap hamburger, cows, or... I can't reap hamburger, cows, or a whole other bureau, not to mention the lettuce. Bound only by the paper-thin wrapper of mortality, a soul here lies, struggling to be free, and so it shall, thanks to a bowl of bad gazpacho and a man named Calavera. Bound only by the paper-thin wrapper of mortality, and so...
Nice bathrobe.
But we offer several travel package upgrades if you'd care to...
Cut the yap. I want something cheap where I can get some rest. Now that's it.
Ay, ay, ay.
You know, Manny, I could make this car a little faster if you wanted.
Yeah. Whatever.
Oh, yeah. Slam the front into the weeds, tub the rear end, dual blowers popping out of the hood.
You'll get plenty of rest this way, Mr. Martinez, and you'll be safely padded by the foam created when these two chemicals mix, like this.
On second thought, I want to upgrade my package.
Sorry, Bruno, but you didn't qualify for anything better. But here, have this complimentary mug.
No, wait! Can't you find me something where I can move my legs?
You know I'd like to, Bruno. But my boss is a real hard-ass.
I gotta be a hard-ass when I got lazy sickle wavers like this jolly boy working for me. Manny, you couldn't find a sale at a yacht club.
I got a sale right here.
I'm talking premium sales, Calavera. Like the kind Domino makes.
How am I supposed to make premium sales with the scumbag clients you're sending me?
Hey! Now you're blaming the clients? I've had it with you, Manny. If you haven't bagged a premium before the next sales report comes in, you're out! Out on the street. No job. No way to work off your time. Just your fancy suit and your big smile and a whole lot of time to kill. Who you calling a scumbag? Why, I
oughta... I'm sick of waiting around for a good lead. Like it's gonna fly in here tied to a brick. It's time to take one.
Elevator code.
Yeah.
Elevator code's the worst, man. Door code in general. Oh, there goes Dominic.
So there was a door box that you would draw on the ground that would have data attached to it that would trigger the art and the.
Well, it's like the old like when you walk into a supermarket in the old days, they didn't have like a IR thing that was pointing at you. They had like a pad on the ground.
Yeah.
You would roll your cart or step on the pad on the ground, and it would automatically open the grocery store for you. And it's just like that. Like there's a little invisible box that you cross that triggers all that stuff.
And then all the fiddly bits of people step on the box, step off the box, step back on it while the doors are opening and closing, and those doors are broken for a long time.
I'll never get out of this place. You and your fancy suits and your nose holes way up in the air, sticking your empty beer bottles down the message tubes. How fancy is that? Huh? Don't you boys upstairs realize the tube switcher is a sophisticated and delicate piece of machinery? Huh? You think you're better than me? No. Good.
Down in QA, we got on the project way earlier than we ever had on any other project, and we would play the game with the concept art on the screen. But Manny was modeled and done and lit. Or, well, maybe he wasn't lit, I don't know, but he would zoom around the concept art, and it was all black and white. And that's why I was wondering.
Oh, that would be neat.
Yeah.
For those who enjoy no-hassle travel. I might get hurt if I try to get one down by myself. Here's what I need. It's locked. This sign says, I'm at the junkyard. Woo!
What is that horrible squeaking noise you're making?
New shoes. Look out below. That doesn't sound good. I don't want to reread the old files. It'll just make me sad.
Servers down again.
What else is new? Let's see. Where am I? Junior sales associate. One of these days, I'm gonna ride her right on out of here. I've just locked an open door. Strange, yet symbolically compelling.
Oh, not again! You trying to blow this joint sky high? That's a magnesium compound fire extinguisher. Spray that on this packing foam, and we'll both be riding the giant Roman candle out of here.
What? Why would they put something so dangerous in here?
I guess they didn't expect this room to be full of hazardous waste.
This line that he says a lot actually comes from the old IT guy at LucasArts. We'd say, hey, the server's down. He goes, the server's not down. It's never down. You just can't get to it right now.
Good enough for government work.
Mercedes Colomar, client number 9308, blah, 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 died of chickenpox, time of death, yada, yada, yada. Aha! Positive attributes. Volunteered time reading stories to dying children. That's good. That's really good. I think you're it, Mercedes Colomar. I think you're the one for me. Gladys, are you loco? What got into you? That was a company car.
Oh, yeah! And it's even better company now. I'm in.
Buenos días.
You're not the nurse?
No?
You're not here to give me my medication?
No, but I am here to ease your pain.
Guess they couldn't save me, huh?
No, but there's still a chance you could save me.
That's a lot of responsibility, Mr. Calavera. What makes you think I've been all that good?
Miss Colomar.
Meche, please.
Meche. I can see it in your face and in your file here, where it says you're entitled to a first-class ticket to... nowhere? What?
Did I do something wrong?
Not according to your bio. It was spotless. At least the part I read was.
I'm not sure I like the implication, Mr. Calavera.
Excuse me, but I have to go straighten this mess out.
Sorry to be so much trouble, Mr. Calavera.
It's no trouble. But please, call me Manny.
This is one of the scenes where we had Tony and Maria Canals in working together, and they're both from Cuba, and they both had worked together before they were cast in Grimm. So it was kind of fun to get the two of them together again and play off of each other, which is, of course, the way you'd like to do any game.
I'm sorry I let you down, Manny.
My old door.
Hey, Funny Bones! In my office! Now! You vandalized company property in order to obtain secret information so you could take your illegally modified company car and your unregistered driver and run domino here off the road! All in order to steal a client from her legitimate agent!
There's nothing legitimate about this place. You give all the good clients to Domino.
Manny, now I'm embarrassed for you.
You've embarrassed the whole office. I'm going to call the woman in here so you can apologize to her yourself. Ava, send in Ms. Colomar, please.
She left about 15 minutes ago, sir. She said she had a long walk ahead of her and she wanted to get started.
Walking? She had a ticket on the number 9. Why does she think she has to walk?
That's the best package I could find for her.
Now you see why I give all the good clients to Domino. That woman was a saint and a shoo-in for a double-end ticket that she's not going to get because you just couldn't find it. And now, because of your little stunt, she's out there, on her own, walking by herself through the petrified forest, facing the demons of the underworld, alone and unprotected. This is her reward after a lifetime of hardship and public service? Her destiny stolen by some overreaching salesman looking for a fat commission he didn't deserve! Get in there and stay put until the boys downtown tell us what they want done with you. Someone's gonna take the phone.
Doesn't open.
I didn't realize how weird it was that he gets locked into a room by his boss, which I don't think is legal. But
Oh,
then
you
again,
know, back in the 30s, you could do all kinds of stuff. You know, rubber hoses for cops and so on. You know, I mean, it was just 50 years after the Old West.
Salvador Limones and guest.
Where are you taking me?
To the headquarters of the LSA.
LSA?
The Lost Souls Alliance. We're a small group, Manuel. We're always looking for new soldiers.
To do what exactly?
We need help in our intelligence unit. You know Eva, of course.
Manny?
I was once a reaper like yourself, Manuel. But I uncovered a web of corruption in our beloved Department of Death.
I have reason to believe that the Bureau of Acquisitions is cheating the very souls it was chartered to serve. I think someone is robbing these poor, naive souls of their rightful destinies, leaving them no option but to march on a treacherous trail of tears, unprotected and alone, like babies, Manuel, like babies.
What's your evidence?
That's where you come in, Manuel. Or should I call you Agent Calavera?
Manny suits me fine. I'm not looking to join any military organization, Sal. I just want my job back so I can work off my time and get out of this dump.
Well, you won't even be able to get out of this city without my help. Which means, of course, you won't be able to find that woman and you'll never get your job back. When you're ready to join the cause, Manuel, come talk to me. We might be of some use to each other.
So there's a scene here. So there's the wine bottle there on the side, or sorry, the bourbon bottle, and there's the taking a slug of his booze, and that was actually like we had lots of math problems early in the game where we were lining up camera angles, like you mentioned, and these camera angles, if we had it off between the real time and the pre-render stuff, things got kind of messy, and so that was one of the first scenes we had where Manny as one character goes and interacts with another item in the scene, and it also has to be placed very precisely in the scene because it has to appear to be on the shelf. And it was really difficult to coordinate. You know, he has to walk to exactly the right spot, line up to perform his animation. The cup has its own animation of flying through the air to his mouth. There's all these weird ways we handled it. I think we changed that later to handle it better, so that the cup was actually attached to him. We'd swap it in, but you know, blank out the one that was on the shelf, put in the one that was in his hand. Like a magic trick, but originally that was something we used to test it out and make it work, and it was, I remember spending days on that and just being worried like, oh man, we're never gonna get this to align perfectly between 2D and 3D.
What the?
Yeah, I remember something about the mural. This would be the mural in
Like a glowing hunk of coral.
what's that guy's name? The Nemesis office.
Domino?
Domino. The mural on the ceiling of Domino's office is.
Hey, what did they do with Glottis? Fill a dent. Good for dents, great for dentures. Wow, that made a perfect impression of my teeth and left quite a chalky aftertaste, too.
Mark Hamer, remember animating that Glottis coming out, and he had to put this thing called a lattice on his butt. And he was like, what are you working on, Mark? Oh, I'm working on the Glottis butt lattice. And he was always like working on the Glottis.
I wonder if that's how Domino meant it to be used.
I used to work at a doctor's office, and one of the jobs that I was doing, just terrible jobs there, and one of them was the roof was covered in like 6 inches of pigeon guano up there. They had a flat roof, like the roof of this building, and they're like, look, we got to get that stuff off the roof. It's going to break the roof. There's so much pigeon crap on the roof. And I had to go up there with like this flat shovel and cut. It was kind of like cutting brownies out of a pan.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just chopping up the bird poop and just scooping it up and throwing it off the roof. And but in chopping it up, I occasionally find like in sedimentary rock, like an archaeologist or a paleontologist, I would find the bones of a dead pigeon just inside this weird brownie of guano on the roof.
Wow.
So I had my fair share of bad jobs.
So this was really a kind of therapy to get that.
Yeah, man, really, there's not enough poop on the roof to make this silly.
Eventually.
Well, it's hard to indicate that with the technology of the time. Kind of just like if you did wind in a 8-bit game, it just sounded like it just sounded bad, you know.
At least I got to clear the pigeons from the roof of my memories.
Yeah, beat it, you lousy little lech pickers! So that's where the vermin come from. You must come with me, young ones, for I am the Grim Reaper. I only eat them poached. These babies are going to war. That wouldn't be a very good use of this special ceremonial bread, the bread of the dead. Agent Calavera and 2 guests.
There's some concept art there in the PowerPoint.
Yeah, because I remember. Yeah, I just took Peter's stuff and like inverted it to make it look like a plan.
Oh, really? You took someone else's textures and reused them.
Great artist borrow. No wait. Good artist steal. Yeah.
The shimmering wings of justice, thanks to you, Agent Calavera.
I myself would also like to spread across the land.
But you can't. We need your dental work here to access the computer. I am sorry, but freedom has its price.
Oh, the secretary has a dual identity. It's always lots of fun. Always lots of fun with dual identities.
Yeah.
I like that Eva gets to have a little, like, she's got more going on than you thought she did.
I love that too, and I like that there's something fishy in the Department of Death too. That's a
so you're not
good
really
twist.
A secretary.
I'm a spy, Manny.
Well, that's the last time we use that temp agency. Any messages for me?
Yes. Join or die.
But I'm already...
Again!
Eva, you gotta get me out of town. They're gonna sprout me.
You can't leave, Manny. We need access to the DoD computer network if we're ever gonna find out what's going on. And we can't access without a salesman like you. The computer IDs you when you log on.
How does it do that? Fingerprints? I don't have any.
Your teeth, Manny. Haven't you ever noticed your computer scanning your teeth when you log on?
I thought that was just a power surge.
We need your teeth, Manny. We can't let you go. Sorry.
Doesn't Cabal wonder where you are?
Don and Domino are both locked up in Don's office with some bigwig from downtown. Some fatty in a fez.
Who is the fat man, I wonder? And how does he fit into this sinister puzzle?
What are you working on there?
I'm trying to get this radio working so we can use it in the field, but it looks pretty hopeless. Salvador's right. We need good old-fashioned homing pigeons to communicate with our field agents.
You have field agents?
No, it's just Sal and me right now. But someday, Manny.
How long have you been a spy?
Salvador recruited me about a year ago. I couldn't resist him. He's just so noble.
I have a little craft project here I want to show you.
Manny, this looks like a perfect impression of your teeth. We can use this as a mold to make a fake set of teeth and get into the computer system that way.
Good work, soldier. You are a friend of the revolution, Agent Calavera. And now, let me be of service to you.
You must go to the town of Rubalcaba, my friend, if you want to find your lost soul.
How do you know where she is?
I don't, but everyone who wants to get to the Ninth Underworld must cross the Sea of Lament, and therefore must go to Rubalcaba to get passage on a ship. As long as you get there before she does, you'll find her. But it may be quite a wait.
I'll wait as long as it takes.
Manuel, are you in love with her?
Love? Love is for the living, Sal. I'm only after her for one reason. She's my ticket out of here. That was some tunnel. I'm all the way to the edge of the petrified forest.
That line right there, love is for the living. I'm only after her for one reason. She's my ticket out of here. That was the key line that Tony and I would always go back to that kind of identified who that character was. The idea with Manny being a Hispanic Humphrey Bogart, that line evoked Casablanca in many ways, and that was kind of just we worked on that line more longer than we should have, but it was just one of those that we just felt was important to kind of nail and help define Manny.
And you could see Pete's musical treatment of it. He kind of suspended the music and had this little classical guitar melody that had a feeling of being like a pocket in time to further highlight that line.
Right.
Yeah.
God is my... Why are you crying?
Manny?
Me too.
You know, I was created just to do that job. It's the only thing that makes me happy. It's like they reached into my chest and pulled out my heart and threw it into the woods to...
Gladys, what have you done? Oh, Gladys.
I always liked Glottis because he's just so pure in his... I mean, he's by definition pure in that he's just the spirit of driving, kind of. Like, he was summoned from the land itself, and he has no... nothing but a desire to drive and go fast, and all his motivations are about like moving at high speed. He almost dies because he's going too slow at some point, and he has to go fast again to come back to life.
Right.
But he also obviously cares about friendship and Manny, and he's a very loyal character.
We coined a phrase called McConnellian ambience, and meaning Pete McConnell. His style of ambience, where you have a little idea and then a completely different idea and then a completely different idea, just sort of sequenced, and the texture would get kind of big, and then it would get very small with a solo clarinet, and then something completely different would happen, and then you'd get a little bassoon. And so these ideas would waft in and out like clouds or just passing notions. And it's a great way to keep the listener entertained but not get in his way. And so we termed that a McConnellian approach to ambience.
Oh, no. Ooh, ick. Shoot!
This is me playing with my own worst fears. I was realizing while we're making this game, I just randomly was thinking about how nice it is that spiders can't fly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with spiders are kind of icky, but they're on the wall. You can stay away from them. Don't go in the garage.
I guess I could always
Don't
use a spare.
get firewood ever. You can stay away from spiders, but what if they can fly? What if you had to, instead of like a bee buzzing around you or something, you had to worry about like there's a black widow. Like, wouldn't that be creepy? So we made flying spiders in the game.
It's an ugly pile of bones, like me. These spiders have Glottis's heart in their web. It's stuck in there good. It's stuck in there good. Soup's on. Huh, they don't seem very interested in that bone I put in there. It's stuck in there good. There's already a bone in there. Oh, 4 spiders. No more demon heart to eat. I can't just leave Glottis laying there. He could be dying. It's still beating.
Heart. Heart is good. Be good to heart. Don't tear out heart. Heart is good. Strong, beating good heart. Hey, is that my car?
Mr. Lamont, I assure you the missing woman will be found. I will personally track her down myself.
Just like you personally picked her up from the land of the living?
That was my intention, but Agent Calavera somehow got to her first.
We gave you the fastest car, Domino. We gave you all the best clients. You had all the advantages. So how was this Calavera able to sneak in there and eat your lunch?
Oh, now, Hector, you can't get too mad at Domino. That wasn't his fault.
Oh, I can, Don. You should know I can get too mad. But not at Domino. After all, he wasn't in charge of this operation. At least, not until now.
Hector, no!
Marigolds. Funny. For some reason, I was expecting tulips. Well, maybe Mr. Calavera, eh, Domino? Why don't you personally go down to the basement and escort him up here? The sooner he's sprouted and we can get back to business, the better.
Want to go for a ride?
I thought you'd never ask.
Sorry.
Híjole, mano. What sort of unholy Christmas tree, Gladys?
Manny, check out this wheelbarrow with a couple of ATV nubby tires on the back and a 2-stroke lawnmower engine. We could make one sweet.
I remember in this room, as in several others, Julian, we used a sound ambience that we recorded using a contact microphone on various machines, like Coke machines, and other vibrating devices or machine-like devices that produces a kind of interesting hum. And if you put your ear up against a Coke machine, or I was just on the Golden Gate Bridge last week, and I stuck my ear up against one of those, 300, 200-foot pylons, and it's amazing the resonances that are going on in those type of resonant bodies. And we would record things like that and turn them into ambiences for some of the rooms.
That should do it.
Still not enough.
And maybe if I moved them around a little. Hey, while you have that off, let me try moving those weights around some more. Okay, just give me a second to balance these doggies. Hey, Manny! What are you doing?
Outside of the entertainment value, that didn't do what I had. I don't want to.
Manny, until now we scraped along the ground like rats. But from now on, we soar. Like eagles. Heh. Like eagles on pogo sticks!
What a relief. I was getting concerned that our transportation wasn't ostentatious enough.
Get in! Or are you afraid of heights?
This signpost seems to be pointing the way to Rubacava.
This is the area that Tim and I would make a lot of jokes about because, producer type person, I need to shorten the game, cut it somehow. So this area, I would, say, hey, we need to cut the beavers. Does that make sense?
He's like, no way, not cutting it.
Oh, well, the whole time we'd fight about it, and it was that one kind of thing where that was the story I told a little earlier about the ship, and he said, Leslie, a game is like a ship, and the ship is going, and it's going to keep going until it stops. And I was like, what kind of logic is that? It has to finish at some point. So I was like, look, the beavers got to go, and they'd always be on the list. And he actually drew me a little pictures on a napkin of like the armadillo, the beavers on fire. And he's like, "Why did you cut me, Leslie? Please don't cut me, Leslie." And he would just poke me.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Lotería. Hey, wait a second. I like to save bones for special occasions.
Manny, I'm scared.
This is like a callback to those brave young men and their jaunty jalopies. You ever seen that movie? Those outrageous young men, their flying machines.
No, that I remember.
They're these two crazy movies from the 60s, which were all about, it was kind of like the Wacky Races, but a real-life version. Magnificent.
Yeah. Flying machines.
And it was like one of those movies, it was kind of like Wild, Wild, Wild World or whatever. Like a Mad World, where all these people are chasing some crazy prize. But the cars in it always had things like that. I think that is a direct lift, like one of the cars. I still remember writing a big justification about tank controls when I was pitching this. People were like, "Let's make it so the controls are more like Mario, where you push it." No, point and click. I was thinking tank controls I thought were superior to point and click at the time, because when you're pointing and clicking, you're distant from the screen, and the screen is this other thing that you're interacting with at your fingertips.
Right.
But when you're doing tank controls, you feel like you are in the center of the character,
right?
And the world is rotating. The world's rotating around you, and so when you think, instead of going, I want to go on the left of the screen or I want to go to the right of the screen, you're saying, I want to look at the thing to the left of me and the thing to the right of me. And now, I don't know if that was necessarily the right decision, but it's a good piece of evidence that you can sometimes make a really good argument for the wrong decision, and that's something to watch out for in life. You know what I mean? Like, you can make a really compelling and, in fact, win an argument.
Oh, yeah.
And be totally wrong.
Winning an argument has nothing to do with being right, that's for sure.
Exactly. It's just being able to make a good case.
Maybe I'll just keep the lock on until I can assess the situation damn side.
Manny, what are you doing?
Hey, don't sneak up on me like that.
Don't you know what's on the other side of that gate?
Yeah, the way out of the forest.
Demon beavers, Manny. They'll make you into a dam.
Relax, Geppetto. I'm not made of wood.
But Manny, they don't use wood.
This scene, actually, this is the beavers here. Another good example of like, you know, why you have to have coroutines in games, because you know, at least in adventure games, you have to have like a script that just says, how's this beaver going to behave? You know, what's he going to do? And at the time that people were making games, you know, the scripting languages weren't popular yet. You had a lot of games in C, and somebody would have been trying to write in their game engine, in their game loop, and go run the beavers now. And in a scene like this, you had to be able to take that and say, this is how a beaver behaves. This scene, actually, this is the beavers here. Another good example of like, you know, why you have to have coroutines in games, because you know, at least in adventure games, you have to have like a script that just says, how's this beaver going to behave? You know, what's he going to do? And at the time that people were making games, you know, the scripting languages weren't popular yet. You had a lot of games in C, and somebody would have been trying to write in their game engine, in their game loop, and go run the beavers now. And in a scene like this, you had to be able to take that and say, this is how a beaver behaves. Right now, I'm thinking like a beaver. How would a beaver? He's going to crawl over here, and he's going to chew on these things, and then he'll get tired, and then he'll jump over here. The same thing with the pigeons and anything else. And that, again, it's like I didn't have to think about the fact that they were needed. They were obviously needed. I mean, that's one of the things that Scum had made very obvious. Like, you cannot make adventure games without coroutines. They didn't call them coroutines, though. I mean, we didn't know what to call them for a long time. So, I mean,
threads.
They were just threads, yeah. And actually, well, that was one of the early experiments. I actually tried to use actual Windows threads, because this is a Windows game. It wasn't a DOS game. This is a Windows game. We can use actual threads. And I initially did try and actually have different Lua threads, and it was just so heavyweight. Machines are so tight, and it was so much overhead, and it was so complex. And it was like, no, we need something lightweight. It needs to be really focused on what the game does.
We were like, what is the flame source for the beavers? And they're like, well, they have a nuclear, they have a core. They have a nuclear core, so they're thermonuclear flaming bone beavers.
Yeah, you know, I have to say, flaming bone beavers. I mean,
you would think that
what
would be
does that remind
controversial.
you of? Yeah.
A band name?
Maybe, yeah.
It's the key to the gates of hell, I seem to recall. That road leads out of the forest, I'm sure. But I don't think I'd get very far on foot. Plus, how could I leave without Glottis? I'm thinking the next project should be wings.
This one was
How could you ever cut this?
I know, but programmatically it was buggy and it was hard. No one understood like how to solve this puzzle for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, look, you got to pick something, and we hadn't started it yet. And so this is a classic Tim technique. When you want to cut something, he will start putting it in the game.
Yeah.
So that everything gets in. So, yeah. Funny.
This outer gate is huge. I'll need Glottis to open it.
Manny, I don't know if I like driving over people.
They can't feel it, they're dead.
You're dead? I wouldn't want to drive over you.
That's because you and I, Glottis, are friends.
Aw, Manny. Hello? Miss Colomar! We're here to save you!
Hey, lay off the racket. The whole town's asleep.
But I want a drag race! When they get a load of my car, we're gonna be the talk of the town!
You're right. We're gonna have to find a good place to hide that road show. Speaking of hiding, I wonder if Mitch is here already. I'm gonna go see what I can stir up. Not a bad piece of real estate, actually. It's got potential.
The character Celso is played by a really funny actor called Peter Lorre, and when he came into the studio on the first day, he had this real look of apprehension about him, and it turned out the word in Hollywood was that Grim Fandango was code name for Star Wars Episode 1 casting. So when he was coming in for the project, people were telling him, "You're going to be going in, and George Lucas is going to be there, and they're going to be flying you up to the ranch," and he was terribly disappointed when he walked in, and the only person in the studio was me.
Mr. Flores, I'm ready to take you now.
Manny Calavera, is that you? Didn't you used to be taller?
What are you doing here?
Well, if you must know, it's about my wife. I got word that she passed away not long after I, and that she too was crossing the land of the dead on foot. It is said that all lost souls come to Rubacava, so I came here to wait for her.
I'm here to reclaim that walking stick.
I broke it over the head of some hideous monsters in the forest.
How do you know your wife hasn't gone ahead of you?
Oh, Manny. If she had arrived here first, surely she would have waited for me.
I'm looking for a woman named Mercedes Colomar.
Well, no one's come through town by that name, and you can take it from me. I, too, am looking for someone, so I watch the comings and goings around here very carefully.
You must love her very much, Celso.
Yes, this is true. Of course, she also has all of my money.
I'll help you find your wife. What did she look like?
Oh, here. I got this from the DOD and made copies to hand out. Isn't she something?
She must have been beautiful with skin.
Weren't we all?
So, know a good place to stay in town?
What's your price range?
Somewhere around the high end of nothing.
Then maybe, young man, it's time you started thinking about a job.
Can you
have any skill?
Sales?
Well, we own. I'm
right.
She'll.
All these doors have numbers and pictures of food on them. What's number 22?
Lengua.
Wow. It's been a long time since I had a tongue.
I love the tiling floor. It's my favorite part in this film. And the fact that it's a automat, which was part of a period reference too. Like those ways that there used to be these restaurants in New York where you'd go, or big cities where you'd go in and the food was ready for you behind these little panels, and you would just open the door and take it, which is just an interesting way of serving stuff. Like just separate the server from the eater, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, that is, I never.
Like you don't want to see the wait staff, so they're behind this wall because of some weird social reason.
That
I don't
is
know.
Weird.
And they don't really have automats anymore, but I always thought that's what was behind that.
It does seem a little impersonal, doesn't it?
guests. You gotta watch your step around here, stranger. Rubicava ain't the quaint little port town she used to be. Well, hell, looks like there's a new vessel in town. Pardon me whilst I go check her out.
Well, actually, it's mostly...
I really wanted to have this moment of Lasco bonding with Glottis, through the magic of cars, and talking about engines and stuff. And cars bring people together, talking about engines.
Plus,
because I never had sports.
Internal combustion.
I never liked sports. I was not into the manly unifier of sports. But
Me neither.
But cars you can talk about with the toughest of dudes.
That's true. That's true.
Ever seen this woman?
Oh, if this is the woman you're looking for, take my advice. Forget about her. She sailed out of here weeks ago in a cozy portside cabin built for two, and she wasn't alone.
We're here looking for a woman named Mercedes Colomar.
I'm not too good with names. Did she have a...
Not that she showed me.
Well, like I...
How do you know she sailed out of here?
It's a tough break here. 6 weeks. I cracked the...
I might be here a while. Is there any work in this town?
Well, there's lots of work down at the docks, but it's all union work. And I just don't see you in that union.
How do you get around here with all the mist?
When you've strolled these docks as long as I have, Pilgrim, you know where you are by the smell of the sea, by the sound of the lonely foghorn, by the icy touch of the cold, salty air.
Wow! Manny, could I have an eye patch?
Can I just ask, what is under the eye patch? Because I know it's not an eye.
Oh, well... When I was alive, I had an eye patch like this. This one's just for the phantom pain. And that one eye socket used to scream like a banshee when the trade winds blew, so I plugged her.
Hey, Manny! We were in the middle of a conversation here.
Hey, okay. Look, I know how you feel, son. Once I lost a very special lady myself. I waved to her from the docks as she sailed out of port, and I never saw her again.
What was her name?
The SS La Mancha was her name, but don't make me talk about her, because I just can't do it.
Are you sure I can't sleep in the back?
There's only room for one.
I just got this thing. Good to see one of my clients doing well. I hate the way mustard spouts get all crusted like that. I hate the way Mustard Velasco's logbook says Celso's wife took a bunk with a hunk. Celso, your wife sailed out of here 2 months ago with another man. It's all in there.
Oh, Manny, is there a greater constant in nature than the treachery of women?
Forget about her, Celso.
Have you forgotten yours? I'm going after her. You take over my job here. This mop at least will never let you down. That compass in the handle will sure come in handy, too.
Hey, boss. You gonna come downstairs? I got a customer asking for you.
You know I don't like to mingle with the customers.
Well, you may want to mingle with this one. She sounds like your type.
Well, looks like a quiet night in old Rubacava.
And just the amount of research that went into all of this, because I just remember Tim going to every film noir movie ever, and we would just all the time there would be something to do, and he's like, want to go to the movies? And it was just, I mean, you can see it, the dark shadows, and then the music. I mean, everything is just so film noir and really pulls you in.
Yeah, I remember us all going to see Casablanca, and I think it was in the Castro Theater or so. It was one of those old San Francisco theaters. I forget which one it was, but it was the whole gang of us went. And
yeah, remember? Did you guys go to the Golden Gate Fields for the horse races? I know they weren't.
I wish
that was part of it, because I think there were some scenes around that, and that was just fun. I mean, just the research trips.
Yeah,
those were fun.
My wartime communications from Salvador. He's been sending me messages like this for the last year.
Agent Calavera, I have word that you arrived in Rubacava safely. This is great news, as your service to the LSA may now continue. I am pleased to report the successful hatching of the eggs you liberated. The hatchlings, which Eva has named Manny and Meche, are quite healthy and eager to serve our cause. With luck, my next letter will be borne to you across the sky by these young gossamer wings of truth. For the revolution, Salvador Limones.
I'm not done reading it yet, but maybe later. Ah, Lady Luck. Look out below.
Le numéro gagnant, le 9, Imperium 9, red.
This is an outrage. I bet on number 2. Why didn't it come up number 2?
These things are all controlled by the man upstairs.
Well, please tell the man upstairs that Police Chief Bogan was very upset when he left. And when he returns later this evening, he would prefer to have better luck.
Oui, monsieur. Bonsoir. I will definitely tell him. Mesdames et messieurs.
So this is one of the parts in the game that was very inspired by Gilda. You ever seen Gilda? I think Rita Hayworth.
No.
It's a great
Sounds like I'm gonna
noir
go home and
movie.
see it now.
It's amazing, and it's the scene that you always see when they show Rita Hayworth, where she just flips her hair up and says, "Who, me?" So anyway, it's about it's set in a resort town where there's a casino, and the main character, there is the main character is working at a casino, and there is this kind of corrupt local law enforcement officer who shows up every night. And the way he gets paid off by the casino to not bust it is that he always comes and bets on number 2 at a certain table, and then they always give him his money, and number 2 always wins and stuff. And so that, I think it's the same number in this game. We always use number 2. I wish you would slide down the banister, because we put a lot of effort into sliding down that banister. Come on, slide down the banister. I recommend any player who's in this room slide down the banister. It's much faster than walking.
Especially if you're 6 and you don't have terrible consequences when you hit the bottom.
You should not try that at home. Actually, kids, you should. You should go slide down the banister of your house right now.
Everybody's got to do it once.
Hello, Manny.
Hola. I guess Gladys is good at anything that uses keys.
Manny, the police chief walked through and I tried playing a song for him and he yelled at me.
Oh, don't sweat it, Mano. He's just mad because he lost at the tables.
Isn't he always supposed to win so he keeps liking us and never raids us?
He wouldn't raid us. It's a holiday. What's that you're playing?
Oh, this is just a little, you know, love song for a special lady.
Sing a little bit of that song, why don't you?
Well, I only have this part. Bone wagon.
I like it. Later.
Out.
I remember animating Manny sliding down the banister. And I remember Tim kept calling for something. He's got to look cool. And so I did that, and I don't think he was ever really happy with it. So I don't know. Apparently don't know what cool means.
You got to put some Ray-Bans on him.
Yeah. I mean, Manny's a suave guy, but I don't know if suave guys slide down banisters. Maybe I should have done it slower. I remember animating Manny.
Marillo de Oro. Yes, I better take this with me for safekeeping.
Manny's music, the Casino Calavera music, is that was a big moment for me doing the score because it was done fairly early on, and it kind of it determined a lot of other stuff, just sort of stylistically.
Mm-hmm.
Get that sort of Gene Krupa thing going on in the beginning. And
Gene Krupa.
Yeah, one of the great drummers of all time.
Everything okay down here?
What happened to Monsieur Bogan's lucky streak?
It ran out.
Well, so did he.
Oh wow, I forgot about that mural. That was supposed to be sort of
really good.
Oh well, thank you. I did that. Did you? No, I did, but it was based on like a Gustav Klimt. But then I also did those really bad textures on the roulette wheels and
Oh, they're fine.
Oh, no, but I remember Adam Schnitzer actually getting angry at me. He was like, don't paint light in the paintings.
Who got angry with you?
Oh, not really angry. I mean,
He probably felt the same way as when Tim said, Manny's not cool enough sliding down that banister.
Yes.
Just make it cool, Canadian animator.
What's that about?
That's now so not cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, betting is closed.
Mind if I sit down, Charlie?
Of course not, Manny. I mean, it is your club, right?
Right. So what are you doing in it? Didn't I tell you not to come back until you can pay your bar tab?
Oh, or they kicked me out of that cat trick for printing
Chowchilla Charlie.
Oh, yes.
That name comes from an actual person I know who was from Chowchilla, which no one remembers anymore, but when I was a kid, an entire school bus full of children was kidnapped in the town of Chowchilla. Do you remember that?
No.
California. A school bus full of kids was kidnapped, and the people demanded ransom. And it was crazy to think about. It was on the news. It was Chowchilla. Everyone was talking about this kid. And eventually, they were found and rescued, and I don't believe they were hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I can talk about that story now. And all the kids went home. But and then years later, a friend of ours was dating this guy named Charlie, and he was from Chowchilla, and I was like, oh, wow, were you on the bus? He was like, no, I was sick that day. I was sick. I didn't go to school that day, and so I didn't get kidnapped.
Wow.
And we always referred to him as Chowchilla Charlie.
Wow.
And he's now in the game as Chowchilla Charlie, even though his personality is not as sleazy as this character. He's a fine, outstanding, although very lucky guy.
Yeah.
How about driver's licenses?
Sure. But this is our Peter Lorre character.
Give me a recent picture, $50 in about 2 weeks, okay?
When I think of something I need, I'll come back.
I'm not a wishing well, Manny.
Why aren't you over at the roulette tables?
The roulette is for lonely widows and Frenchmen. Why don't you get some slot machines, Manny? Everybody, old women, little children, they all love slot machines. And I have a system, an infallible system for beating them.
All my friends are lonely widows and Frenchmen.
Except me, Manny. I'm here to keep you sane.
I think slot machines attract an undesirable element.
Oh, well, we're all undesirable, Manny.
Yeah, but your credit's no good to boot. That's a nice suit. Where'd you steal it?
Manny, if you learn to play the odds like Chowchilla Charlie, then maybe you too can have a suit this fine someday.
Tell me your system, Charlie.
I can't tell you my secrets. Just this. You have to become one with the bandit, Manny. You have to get inside the machine and make it want to pay.
On second thought, stay away from my roulette tables. Well, I've got a club to run, so...
Oh, yes. Please, Manny. Get on with your glamorous life.
Le numéro gagnant.
So these is like scenes are from the production of the game in a way where Leslie would come to me like, look what I made. I made a chart of every single scene in the game, plus every single actor, and I coded it. Yellow means Manny's in it, and blue means this prop is in it. And she's so excited about these things that she did, and this character is doing the exact thing.
Think she'll come in tonight?
Manny,
You have to take
you
things
ask
from your
me
life
that
and put
every
them in
night.
your work.
What am I
you know?
supposed to say?
Even though they don't read anything to anybody else.
Well,
Otherwise,
that just means work will be about life rather than life being about work, right?
Exactly.
You're supposed to say...
Yes, I think tonight's the night that you finally go nuts from waiting for the grand entrance of Ms. Mercedes' car. Alamar.
Let's try that again, shall we? Think she'll come in tonight?
Yes, I think tonight's definitely the night.
Thank you. It's my fault she's out in the woods alone, you know.
If you say so, Manny.
Bogan looked mad when he left?
Yeah, what happened?
Hey, we all run out of luck eventually.
Careful, Manny, or you're gonna get us shut down.
How's the flow tonight?
We're dead tonight, Manny. Everybody's back home for the Day of the Dead, I guess. Except for the casino. The casino's hopping. Why is it that all the...
Well,
Hey!
Everything okay back in the land of fur and fedoras?
Everything's in order. It's beautiful. I can't wait for people to come in and try the new system. It's so cool. Want to hear about it?
Okay, tell me all the details about your new coat check system.
Yay! Okay, I found all these plastic tiles in the back, left over from the automat, and guess what? They all have numbers on them. So what I'm doing is, I give one to everyone who checks a code in and... Manny, you're not even listening to me. I go to all this work organizing your coats, and you don't even care.
Lupe.
Forget it. Don't pretend to care.
No, I want to hear.
No, I'll tell someone else about it. Someone who cares.
Please, tell me all about your new coat check system, really.
Don't patronize me, Cal.
Okay, back to work.
Okay.
Evening, Lupe.
Hi, Manny.
Okay, back to work.
Okay.
Evening.
Hi, Manny.
Okay, back to work.
Okay.
Evening, Lupe.
Hi, Manny.
Okay, back to work.
Okay.
Evening, Lupe.
Hi, Manny.
Okay, back to work.
Okay.
Evening, Lupe.
Hi, Manny. Okay.
Evening, Lupe.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay.
Meche?
Manny, help me. I've been lost for so long. Why didn't you look for me?
I did. You ran off. Why?
Because you said I was no good. I've been all alone in the world for a whole year.
And it's all because of you!
This gonna be an annual thing with you, Manny? Every Day of the Dead, you toss your bones into the drink and I fish 'em out?
I don't plan to be around that long, Velasco. As soon as I find out where that ocean liner's going, I'm after it.
Ho ho! That ship's going to Puerto Zapato. That's the other side of the world. Ain't no ships going out that way but the old Limbo here, but...
But nothing. If the Limbo's my only hope, then I'm already on board.
Well, good luck, son. That's all I got to say.
That's Kay Cuter, and Kay was, I don't know, late 70s, early 80s, and big, long, gray beard, and he was a raging smoker.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you'd have to break him every 45 minutes,
Oh,
otherwise he'd start getting into a really bad mood. And on one of those sessions, we were doing. He plays the croupier later on, where he speaks French and English, and it's just he delivers the numbers. We were behind on time, and so I sort of pushed him to an hour, and all of a sudden, I found myself in an argument with Kay over how to pronounce 20 in French.
Oh.
And so I was like, it's definitely time for a smoke break on you.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It shone pale as bone as I stood there alone, and I thought to myself how the moon that night cast its light on my heart's true delight, and the reef where her body was strewn. Don't have that kind of equipment. Together this time. It shone pale as bone as I stood there alone, and I thought to myself how the moon that night cast its light on my heart's true delight, and the reef where her body was strewn. All right, so I'm ready to sail.
On what?
On the Limbo, man. Let's go.
Manny, the Limbo's not a passenger ship. She's small cargo, son, and every hand on board works.
I'll work.
What are your skills?
Sales and restaurant management.
Oh, hey, there is one opening on the Limbo's crew.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's in the engine room. And your buddy Glottis would be perfect for it, but he'd have to get his own tools.
What kind of tools does Glottis need?
Authentic CB equipment only.
Where do I get authentic CB equipment?
Why don't you ask a CB? Afraid of getting stung?
Okay, if I get Glottis some tools, can we board?
He can, yes. No offense, Manny, but there's just no place for you aboard the Limbo. She's fully manned already. In fact, her whole crew's on board, ready to sail at dawn. Except for that one guy.
Who's the one guy who hasn't boarded yet?
Yeah, well, Seaman Naranja's a little late, but he'll be here before they sail.
What job did Naranja have?
He ran the galley.
Aha! Restaurant management.
Yeah, it's similar to what you're doing now, except the fish is fresher on the Limbo.
What if Naranja doesn't show up? I can fill his spot, right?
Manny, you're not even in the Maritime Union.
I know that, and you know that, but we're two guys who can keep secrets, right?
Glottis is exempt, but the captain will ask for your card. And if you don't have one, they'll serve you to the sharks like chum. And what's worse, I'll get fined. That's a tough union, boy, and I don't mess with them.
Where do you think Naranja is?
Probably home selecting recipes for the trip.
What's going on in that bottle? A tugboat?
This happens to be a perfect scale replica of the SS Lumbago. I'm just having a little trouble getting the walking beam to fit in the neck here.
That's funny, because a lumbago is usually more of a problem in the lower back than the neck.
Yeah,
Nothing. So let me get this straight. If I get Glottis some tools,
then I can get him a job on the Limbo.
And if Seaman Naranja doesn't show up for work,
but he will,
and I get a Maritime Union card,
which you'll never get,
then I can sail on the Limbo in the morning.
Jeez. I guess so.
I'd better go finish packing.
You do that, son.
There it is. Max's giant cat racetrack. How's a regular guy with 3 roulette tables supposed to compete with that?
To some extent, Grim Fandango is a bit of a mutt. It's got pieces of Jedi Knight, it's got pieces of Scum, it's got pieces of Outlaws, it's got pieces of, it's got IMUS coming in, and it's got the Lua language. So it was a game kind of made on a shoot, for all the technical challenges in it, a lot of pieces were sort of pre-existing, and kind of it was a matter of maybe a new era of game development where you don't write everything from scratch, but you kind of put it together in the best possible way.
Well, and one of the
And so that guy, Toto Santos, which is the name of All Souls Day, that was one important casting thing that meant so much at the time. And I love The Usual Suspects.
Yes.
And there's a burn victim in the very beginning of the game, a guy who was burned on the ship.
Right.
And he's in the bed, and he's the first guy who says, "Guys are so say."
Okay, right.
Is this Hungarian or Polish?
Yeah, yeah.
And we got that actor to do Toto Santos' voice because I was like, I want him to sound like that guy from Usual Suspects. And so if you listen to him, he just awesome. Like, I wanted to have him say Kaiser Soze in the game, but he doesn't.
It's empty. A lot of stains for a guy with no bodily fluids. I really doubt I'll be touching that anytime soon.
Hey! Shut door! You slowed down my grinder. Very painful. Very painful, eh, Naranja? Like torture.
I love how all the characters have very distinct voices that match their personality and their look. Like, how much would Tim give you direction, and how much was your direction influencing?
Well, like ideally, when you go through the process, you you have character pictures along with the audition copy, and we would send that out to the various agencies, and the auditions would come back, and I mean, it kind of, the process kind of does that for you, because you're listening to the auditions and you're looking at the picture, and you narrow it down to like a handful of candidates, and then you sort of we'd sit down with Tim and just go through them and go, that's, sometimes there's only one choice, and you just know it.
Right. It's just so great.
Yeah.
All of them.
What you do is you cast for like the major characters, and then you use that same talent pool with a lot of the smaller characters. Right. And so that's why Kay is, he was cast for Velasco, but then the croupier just was one of those that's like, okay, well, that fits, he works.
So you let the actors pretty much kind of come up with their character as well when they look at the picture?
Yeah. Well, you definitely, like for those secondary characters, they're totally undefined when you're in the studio, and so you just kind of sit there, look at the picture, look at the lines, talk about it, just set a dialogue voice in, and then go.
Yeah, just create. I love it. It's just creative everywhere, like through the whole thing. Like not just with us, but even with the actors and stuff like that. And you really are like watching a movie. Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely. And you really want that relationship between sort of the voiceover director and the actor to be collaborative and allow them the freedom to bring stuff to the table and try things, and it just adds a lot.
Hola, Toro. ¿Cómo estás?
Not now, Manny. I'm in the middle of something with Naranja here.
Looks like it hurts. Looks like it hurts. Strong stuff. That ought to kill the pain.
Should, but it don't. I killed the pain, turn off my drill, stop working. How about that?
No. I can take it. Bring it on, Pops.
I'll pop you, sailor boy.